Welcome to Some Say I'm Gifted, where we teach you the magic of walking in your spiritual gifts and how it can help you navigate this crazy life, and helping you understand that even though we're in this world, we are not of it. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's get real.
Hey y'all, how you doing? This is Tess from Some Say I'm Gifted. I'm here with Danielle and Morgan.
Hey guys.
Hello, beautiful people.
I'm a little concerned because I'm going to be doing talking, but I know what it's about, but I'm going to be questioned, so I'm a little nervous. But I have a question for you guys first.
Oh man.
What is your most favorite kind of vehicle to drive? Like sedan, for sports car, SUV, truck, minivan, school bus.
Homer.
We didn't ask what you did in the car. We asked what kind of car.
Whole different conversation. Well, I'm a sports car girl.
Are you really?
You are.
I drove a Mustang. That was my first
Does
car.
this not surprise me?
No, not at
A
all.
Mustang convertible. That was my first ever car, and I miss it to this day. So I love me a sports
What happened to it?
car. It just, honestly, it reached to like 150,000 miles, and then I moved to the beach, and the salt
Really?
air just kind of tore it apart. So then I ended up getting a sedan, and it's fine, but we're here now. How about you guys?
Sorry you lost your vehicle.
It's okay.
I know that pain. I drove a pickup truck. It was my first truck. It was a Chevy Silverado, and I love her. And she's come in and out of my life as I gave her back to my parents, and then got her back when I lost my other car. And I've had her in or out. And I lost her last year.
Oh, I'm so
She
sorry
was my
for your
favorite.
loss.
She had horses on her.
She did, right on her ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big old truck.
That was a big old truck.
And Morgan is not that tall.
No.
You were little driving that.
I mean, I guess that people have more faith in her driving a big truck because my husband has a Tacoma, a big Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
And we had just got it, and I was trying to back it up in the rain in my horrible driveway at night with my kids in the car. Jasper goes, "Mother, stop, let Morgan do this." I was like, "I got this." Morgan's like, "She's got this." And I'm like,
And he let me drive his truck
Yeah.
in the rain
Yeah,
and in
check-
the dark that
yep.
night. Yep.
yeah. Y'all know mine?
Yes.
Yes.
4Runner. I'm trying to talk my husband into getting a Sequoia. I drive a minivan right now. I've had 3 4Runners. I love them. They're my favorite. But I like a Sequoia too. I like his truck. I look like a big feller driving it because I'm only 5'3". I pull up to my brother's house every time. I'm like, I look like a big feller, don't I? I'm just a little girl. I'm just a little girl over here.
You also
There's
are always
security.
transporting children in it.
I
so
am.
You need a
Yes.
bigger vehicle for all of them.
I had a 4Runner that literally has just fallen apart because I had to start driving a minivan because there's 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my life.
Yeah. God bless you.
So what are we talking about today, ladies?
We are going to delve into what you do for a living.
Oh God, you might want to wear a mask and a nose squishy thing.
Because you deal with a lot of people's shit.
Yes, I do. I like it. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. So we've got some counseling questions for you. I pulled up some frequently asked questions for counselors. And I thought you might like to answer them for people's.
I will do my best.
Okay.
If I do my best, I get like a milkshake at the end.
No.
No, probably
Did y'all
not.
ever, like, when you were a kid, this is totally off topic, but when I was a kid, there was like my dentist. I know my kid went to this, but you would leave and they would give you a voucher for a free McDonald's milkshake or fry.
Mine did do that.
Yeah. So you'd be like numb face, numb mouth, and they'd be like, "You can go get fries." You're like, "Thanks."
Yeah. There's a $1 coupon for a diller at
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine gave us lollipops, which I feel like is so.
That is just.
They wanted you coming back.
They were like, yeah, we're gonna see you
So
back here.
here
in a
you
month.
want a sucker?
I was like, how does this make any sense?
Maybe I
But-
should do that with my counseling. Like, you want some acid? I'm just like,
All right, so I'm gonna touch base with you in 2 days.
yeah,
Be back here. No,
Okay.
Okay.
So, Tess,
yeah.
what do you do for a living?
Well, some things I can talk about on air. No, I'm just like, no, I counsel 90% of the time. I mean, I teach online.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard lately that the word shaman's a dirty word. We'll get into that later. But I am a shaman, the Cherokee Nation. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm a Christian counselor, and I'm ordained minister, and I teach a lot. I do a lot of online classes, but my bread and butter, what I do every day, is I counsel. Therapy, counsel, however you want to word it. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I have had certifications and all this stuff, and being an ordained minister, it kind of covers everything on top of it. So I spend a lot of my life counseling, and kind of, it's like spiritual life coaching, because I will talk you through things. Can I talk about
Yes, please.
I can't say names, but I can give you a situation. I've worked with this one in particular client. I'm going to call
Actually,
her.
Tori, because we talked about her on a different episode.
Yeah. I have worked with her for years. And I had noticed several patterns, and I'd kind of brought it up. I mean, I had brought it up, but like, how do you feel about this? Do you not think that you continuously saying this should make, it was a medical procedure. You keep saying you've had this, but then you don't have the treatment and everything's fine, and it's not possible. Okay. Because I'm not using her real name, because Tori is not her real name. I can say this in particular person claims to have several miscarriages, but never has a DNC. And that is not healthy. Any female that's ever had a miscarriage, there's some you can do it if it's very, very early on, but you still need to go to the OB, right? You still need to get checked, because there could be debris up in there. Mm-hmm. She had said it multiple, to the point that you're like, what are you thinking? And I don't know if she's not educated enough to know that you can have a heavy period, heavy flow, and you can have clots. Anyways, enough of that. I had said several times, don't you think you need to get some treatment, hormonal, whatever. And she said, I am. And that was it. Well, I don't push. And if you're paying me to work with me, I'm going to do everything I can. But if you don't, I can lead a horse to water. I cannot make you drink. Okay? So this continued, and then she has gotten married. It's a long process. Anyways, I get a message one day. I need your help. I'm in a bad place, mentally, emotionally. I need your help. I said, when can you talk? I have openings tomorrow. She said, do you have anything today? And she's not that persistent of a person. I said, I can squeeze you in today. What time? She told me a time, and I made it work. Which now Morgan helped me with that, because she helped me with my website. It's really cool. Anyways, so I get in a session with her, and she's telling me all this, and she's very monotone. And I can tell she's in what I like to call the deadhead phase, which is not a real clinical phase, but she's like dead to the world because she's emotionally overstimulated. Okay. So I say, what's going on? She's like, I'm not sleeping well. I can't really eat. She's talking very she's not that. She's very upbeat and chipper and happy. Even though she's telling you bad news, she'll smile. And I thought it was because of where she's from. And I even called people that are close to where she's from. I was like, is this something y'all do there? Because in the South, we'll smile and be like, yes, it was hell. But, we'll still be smiling. This is a different kind of smile. It's like, yes, I've had another miscarriage. And you're like, what are you? Are you okay? It's a different feel. I know that those sound similar, but anyways. And so we're talking and everything. And she's like, well, my father's birthday, who her father had passed away about 3 years ago. My father's birthday was a few days ago, and I forgot. And you can tell. And I said, okay, are you ready? She said, for what? I said, are you ready for us to work now? Are you ready? She said, we've done so much work. And we have. This in particular person, she's gone through a lot, which I don't know anybody that has it. Anyways, so I said, are you ready? And she said, for what? And I said, to fix, if we're going to talk about our shit, let's wipe it off, get it away from us. Let's talk about it. And I said, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, and you won't be true about yourself. She said, what do you mean? I said, you keep saying I don't want children, but every time I see you, you've had another miscarriage. Are you having miscarriages, or do you deep down want kids, but you're waiting to see what people will say? And she started crying. She's not a crier. And she went, oh my God, why have you never said? I said, you're also upset because you married somebody that you didn't really know. Y'all work different shifts. Now you're on the same shifts. You're on the same schedule, and you're learning each other, and you don't like them. Not saying it won't work, but you didn't know the fella. But you wanted acceptance so bad that you did it. And you did it without even telling me or any of your family, because you knew your family would be like, you've not known him long enough. You don't know him. And you knew I would be like, hey, maybe you all should go do some counseling, whether it's with me or somebody else, prior to getting married. Because the state she lives in does not require it. Now, some states do, you know. And then North Carolina does. Just throwing that out there. Really? Yeah. Did South Carolina? Mm-mm. North Carolina, they used to. They might not now. Tennessee does. Or you have to pay like $100 more or something to get your marriage license. Anyways, so then I said, Ann, you're blaming yourself for forgetting your dad's birthday, but you've just moved on with your life. He's died. It's okay. You're doing the right things. And she was like, why have you never spoke to me like this before? I said, I have. You just didn't want to listen. So we're working through those topics now. And it was like pulling off a Band-Aid. But sometimes in order for a wound to heal, you have to pull up the Band-Aid and let air get to it and circulate. So does that answer that question?
Sure.
A little bit?
A little bit more, but
a little bit more in depth.
Yes, it was very good. So just some questions that people who might be seeking counseling from you might ask you.
Okay.
So what if they're not religious? Can they still work with you?
Yes. I get that a lot. Like I get that question on a regular basis.
Or what even if they are of a different religion?
It's fine. That I don't judge as long as you don't judge. I can tell you, I mean, I think a lot of my clients get tired of me saying biblically this, spiritually this, if you're a Hindu this, you know, but I try to cover all bases, and I could say biblically this is how I feel, you know, but if you're not into that, if I, let's say, Danielle, I'm working with you and you say, I don't really get the Bible. I'm not into Christ, whatever. I'm like, okay, what are you into? The universe being in oneness. Okay, great. So if you speak things into the universe, as opposed to our tongue holds the power of life and death. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's just one's more created to it. And I'm not saying I change or I'm a chameleon with that. It's just, I do my best to work with people. And I love working with people that are of different mindsets and religion than me. Did I answer that one? A little bit shorter.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
I do actually have a question. What do you think keeps you in business as a counselor?
That I don't judge. That I get phone calls all times, day or night, and I don't fuss about it. I'm accessible, and you know, a very dear friend of me that I've had since I was in 7th grade was going through a really rough patch. And I'm not going to say he or she, I'm just going to say it was a friend going through a rough patch and made some bad decisions. And this person said, I haven't talked to you forever, but I got to talk to you. And I said, okay, call me. And they did. And they said, you're the only person on the planet that I can speak to. I said, that's not true. You've got people in your life, but I'm here. Let's do this. They're like, without judgment. I went, okay, yeah. And I'm going to be honest. I might be like, what? Because my brain's processing, but I didn't judge. And I get that a lot, that people can tell me anything and they can tell me anything because they know I'm not going to judge. And I think that comes from my past, because I was, there used to be a commercial, sorry. You remember, Chewy granola bars? Mm-hmm. And they would say, kids say the darndest things. And it would be like these kids just saying random things. And one of them was, my sister dresses like a floozy. And my brother used to say that. And it was like, give him a Chewy granola bar and shut him up. Like that was the commercial. Oh. So I was pretty wild and I didn't care. So, and I think people know that I work from love now. So there's no judgment. And I really do love what I do. And I don't let up. Like if you need me, I'm here, but I'm not going to push myself. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, and it's not letting up, but just know I'm always here.
Yeah.
And I try to usually connect with people pretty intensely. It's not like I'm planning on it. It just happens.
Yeah. That actually led right into the next question, which was, I've made mistakes in my past. Will that be a problem?
No. I mean, as long as you're okay with me making mistakes in my present.
Yeah. So I will actually go into that a little bit, is that we know that you counsel a lot of the gypsies.
Yeah.
And we have worked on the gypsies, so we know some of other people's issues, and we worked on total strangers together. We've worked together personally. So I know some of the issues that some of your clients bring to you. And I know that if you are struggling with drugs, if you're struggling with infidelity, if you're struggling with pornography,
Yep.
if you're struggling with literally
Sexuality.
anything,
Yeah.
your sexuality even if you're in a marriage, like it doesn't matter what you're going through. Tess will not judge you.
Why? That's not my place. That's not my name. So I wish I could see me with my little dance. But yeah, it's not my place, bro. Like, I'm just here to help and maybe enlighten it and maybe lighten your load of guilt, of burden, of fear, of shame. And be like, there's worse out there. But that's not my answer for everything. But I think it's important to know that. So yeah, thank you, Morgan. That was better than I could have answered.
Absolutely. I just want to give them real hard context here.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Next question I have is, what if somebody thinks they have spiritual gifts, but they are afraid of them?
That's fine. We'll say Tori again, is a really highly gifted person. We're going to say this is clearly a different Tori. Okay. Which is very funny. I do have a cousin named Tori, but this is not about you.
That is. This is a
She
catch-all.
lives in another part of America than the other Tori. This Tori I'm talking about. Anyways, Tori A is what we'll call her. She is extremely gifted, and I think she's scared of it. I think she's afraid to open that door to see what is behind it. And that's fine, but she keeps getting God confirmations, is what I like to call them. And they're very like, you did what? That's nothing I would have ever done or said, or I've never had this experience before. And it's because as we get older, from birth on, we have different enlightenments that we reach. And she's coming up on a big one. And she's saying that she wants God to be her path and light her way in darkness. And but she's pulling back from the gifts, which is fine. So I don't push it. I say, hey, we can work on it. I let you know. I give you the information and let you make your choice. But I'll always be like, you might be gifted. Some say I am. Not that I'm plugging a podcast or anything. But yeah.
I love that.
What about the complete opposite of the spectrum? What if somebody says, like, I've had Reiki or I've had spiritual work done before and I just don't feel anything?
I'll say things like, especially if I can get my hands on you, let's do it. I have a sound therapy bit. I am a sound therapist, which I should have also said that at the beginning, and a QEEG tech, which means I can help read brainwaves and help reroute them, which is like a neuroscience thing. But let's talk about it. What did you expect to feel? Because some people think I'm going to feel wings all around me and bubble guts. Some people are like, I'm going into this not knowing what the heck to expect. So I ask what they want to expect, and then I go, okay, so let's practice these things. Let's do this. And if they've had Reiki, let me rephrase that. If I'm working with them as a counselor, that's a totally different aspect than if they want to become what some people call gypsies.
Yeah.
If they want to start taking classes with me, because I don't, when I'm counseling somebody, I don't care what you follow. It's your thing. Okay. When you are learning my family's teachings, which is some of the stuff I teach, I can't mix that with darkness.
Yes. Sorry, I was asking kind of generic questions to you, what you do. So
yeah.
And then actually, real quick, I'm so sorry. I just have one going off of that. If somebody came to you and they were like, I've heard about the gypsies. I've heard about what you all do. I've heard about your classes. So I'm debating right now, do I want to take a class? Do I want to get a healing, or do I want to start counseling sessions with you? What would that look like? Would it be an initial conversation just so you can...
Let me get to, talk to me, see how pretty I am. And then let's, my go-to thing is a hands-on session. Mm-hmm. You're going to, even if you don't feel anything immediately, in a day or two, you're like, you know what? I'm not thinking about that butt head that I used to be obsessed with. Or, you know what? That sound therapy and then the QEG stuff and that place in your head, I'm feeling different. I mean...
And they sometimes seek it. They craving it.
They start well, it's not just they crave it, but they know that Tori B. No, we're going to say Tori C. You all know this Tori, all of you in here. You all worked on this Tori. The first time she came to me, extremely skeptic. She got off the bed and she ran. I don't know if that's giving you any clues. and was like a new person. And this person has physical ailments that she shouldn't do that. But she ran out the door, did she not? And I was like, you don't have to, she just felt like a new person, and it changed her life. And I was counseling with her too. And not in the way she thought it would. And that's what and recently we did another session with her. I mean, I work with her all the time counseling, but we did another hands-on session. She said, now it's like an Easter egg. I never know what I'm going to get out of it. And her life has changed drastically, and it's wonderful. I mean, everybody, I can't come in with a vacuum and take all the bad crap out, okay? But we can learn how to deal with it and live with it. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like opening the door so people
can.
Yeah,
so I would say a session, but if you can't get to me, let's do an online session. Let's do counseling.
Perfect.
And then if you want to work with me, we'll talk about that too. I mean, I think that either hands-on or on like a counseling session is great. And I do counseling sessions in person if you're local, but most people aren't local to me.
I was going to say, so that's good for people to know, even if you're in California.
It's just easier for me because even those that are local to me, where I live, because I won't go rent an office because I do so much online. Mm-hmm. Where I live is not easy to get to. So there you go.
All right. I just have one last question.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not super exciting, but like it's a question. What if people have tried counseling before and they just didn't do anything for them?
Well, I get that one a lot. Because I'm not your regular counselor.
No, she's not.
At all.
She'll tell you the truth.
I was hoping we were going to get here.
Yeah, I unfortunately have had that part of my brain removed. No, I'm just playing.
No, she has. I saw the procedure.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like to the point that I was so honest when I was a child that people would be upset. I'm like, why are they mad? Like that's the truth. Like you're not in a size 12 jeans. Let's face it. Not the end of the world, but you're not in 12. You're maybe at 24. It's okay. It's okay. Thick is great. Who cares? Like if you're happy, who cares? So yeah, I unfortunately am that person. I don't plan. I don't try to.
Yeah. And it doesn't usually come across mean.
No.
Right. Sometimes people maybe didn't even understand what the truth was. And then you present it to them and they're like, oh, now I have a whole new understanding or perspective.
I get that
you
a lot.
call it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I get that a lot. Like I'm going to tell you about Tori D. I think you all might know her too. Anyways, she was in a relationship with a dude who was using her, and we all knew it. And we all tried to say it. And finally, I said, hey, I love you. But I'm going to sever emotions from you. And I'm going to do it by doing like these steps. If it's okay with you. She said, fine. And Danielle, I think you know who I'm talking. And we worked on this together, and we did, and then that was it. And then she was like, I don't ever want to feel that way again. Mm-hmm. Which I will say, I did the same thing for Tori C. And she was like, I don't ever want to feel that way again. So when you go back and you look at, it wasn't fun. And it's not like I'm like, I get to tell somebody's bad stuff. No, I am not that way. Because I pray and fret over it before I confront you with it, ever.
So it's not a question, but I do want to say that, like, I've asked you before, who's your ideal clientele? And you've told me, like, everybody, like men, women, kids, teenagers, adults, married couples, dead people, like...
Well, that's a cold subject.
But I wanted to give you what I have seen you just do amazing at, is helping women get out of toxic, abusive relationships. And not just in a, oh, he broke up with you, like, he's bad for you, like,
girl, you better leave.
Get that guy out your life. No, you will walk an abused woman through these steps of how to walk away and do it well. And it is beautiful to watch.
Thank you. I'm not saying this to be mean, but I don't think you've seen the men I've done that with.
I mean that. No, I haven't.
I'm to be honest with you, it's going to sound really bad, but I'm really big with military guys and cops because
father figures.
No, I don't mean it like that word. I mean, like, I think because I don't waste their time. I'm to the point, and I'm like, I don't care how many people you have saved. You're not allowing yourself to be saved. And I don't mean like God saved you. I mean like if you're in a relationship with a male and he's abusive, okay, that's an abusive relationship. If you're in a relationship with a female and it's abusive, I mean, even same-sex couples I work with.
Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back through on the edit, and for some reason we got cut off during the middle of our conversation, so this is a little bit of an abrupt change, but here is Danielle.
I do just want to point out too, I went to a counselor prior to meeting Tess, and the way that Tess goes about things is very different from anything that I was used to because of her gifts and because of her connection to Christ and the way that she goes about things, and just this, she comes at everything with love and her understanding based on the things that she's been through in her past. I think that the counseling sessions just, for some reason, they have more of an impact, in my opinion, and from other people that I've spoken with that do counsel with you and have worked with you. So if you are interested, I would encourage you to at least have a conversation. Absolutely.
Which I do believe you have for like a free consultation.
Yes, I have like 10-minute free consultation. It's on our website, which is...
Well, we're still working on it, but we'll have it tagged in the comments.
Yes. And growing up, I had cancer when I was 5. And so I had to go to a lot of therapy because my parents got divorced when I had got diagnosed with cancer. They say it's not because of that, but it was clearly because it's proven now, right? Anyways, and I had a lot of therapists that go, but how do you feel? And don't get me wrong, I do ask you things. Like I recently had a situation with a couple and something I said, well, how do you feel about that? And they're like, I don't know. I haven't thought about how I felt about it. I just, at the moment, felt anger, but I don't know. I'm like, but how did it affect, like we get into it. But I had a lot of that. And then I had people, like you said,
yeah, I mean, it was kind of the opposite of that. It was very much just, here's what I read in a book somewhere when I was going through school. Yeah. Apply that to your life and see how it works. Yeah. And for me, I needed to understand why that was even a thing and how to apply it. What if that doesn't work for me? How are we going to work through that? Like, and I felt like she, didn't really want to get to the nitty gritty of why I was in my anxious, depressed mode that I was in. It was more just, well, here's the things that I've learned that should help. Maybe
they don't
they'll
help
you.
You're out of luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had counselors like that too. And I had one that was like, looked at me and I was probably 10 or 11. And she was actually a Christian counselor too. And she went, so why are you doing your homework but not turning it in? And I said, I don't know. I forget. And she goes, that is a bullshit lie. And I went,
she said,
and I was like, this lady got me. And I was doing it because there was other things in my life. Now I know. I mean, and she explained it to me, but this is not the only reason I know that. But there was other things in my life that I couldn't control. I could control that. So I did that. And when she broke it down for me, I thought, she said, all you're doing is hurting yourself. And I mean, I know Morgan's heard me say, I know Danielle's heard me say that we do that to ourselves all the time. It's just when you're a child, it's much easier to show. As an adult, we self-sabotage in different ways.
Like binge eating.
Like I got nervous today. I was eating chips. Mind you, it is small amounts of chips, if my doctor hears this. But, yeah.
Oh, one more little thing just to add on to the multitude is that you also have this wealth of random and medical knowledge.
That's so really weird. It's what were we talking about today? Oh, we went out, like, we saw something in the clouds, and I was like, look at those evils. She's like, it looks like Sid the Sloth. I was like, do you know, I love John Leguizamo. He's the guy that does the voice. She goes, what? I was like, he was in one of my favorite movies, Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. And she was like, what? I was like, that's the name of the movie. And it had Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes and him, and they were all played drag queens. And she's like, what? It's like, it's a great movie. Anyways, he was also in this other movie called Chef with John, and she's just looking at me. I was like, sorry. I was like, by the way, do you know who Elle King is? She's like, yeah. I was like, you know who her dad is? She's like, no. I was like, Rob Schneider. She went, and I was like, in Waterboy, he's the guy that goes, you can do it. She went, what? I was like, I have so much useless knowledge.
So
yeah.
much. But it helps. Yeah, she should go on a game show.
You should sit with me when I watch Jeopardy. Yeah. We had a blast last night.
Fun. Listen, I watched it so because I watch it and I'm just like, I need someone that could be my partner that knows all these answers and that I could just be there.
Me and my husband do great at trivia because he doesn't know anything about anything but sports.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
it's great.
I feel like anybody could relate to you because of all the things that you've been through and everything that you know, because you do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
If you don't understand anything, you will, or if you don't understand something, you will look it up and you will research it. And that's why I feel like you have so much knowledge, because you want to learn, even
Yeah.
if you don't, you know?
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I will research a situation too much. Like, I want to know. I want to figure it out. Because I think it goes back to when I was a kid. I had so many weird things happen to me that were not understandable. And I'm like, that's not, everything is somewhat understandable. So, but thank you, ladies. This was nice. And I feel very enlightened. I'm just playing. But if you guys want to reach out to me, you can find me on Facebook at Tesserae Lee McKittrick on Facebook. I can spell that for you, but it's going to take a while. And you can email us at somesayimgifted@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe and comment. You can, any platform, listening platform, you can holler at us. And we're on Facebook at Some Say I'm Gifted, on X at Some Say I'm Gifted, which is unfiltered me. It's when I'm half asleep or when I'm not being monitored. My husband does pick some of the memes out of it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, and the website, Tessa's counseling website, will be linked in wherever
Yes.
you're listening to this in the comments.
Yeah, I'm excited. It looks really cool.
I
think
wait.
it's cool.
I can't
Morgan
wait to
did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you, ladies, for the questions. And we would like to know, we have a question for you guys listening. What are things you look for or run away from in a counselor or somebody to talk to, even if it's a friend?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. Comment what you look for and or don't look for in a counselor.
Yep. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. And hope you listen to more.
Yeah.
Love y'all.